Okay, before I get started here, I'd like to address the fact that I'm sick at the moment. I've got a cold. You can probably tell by now because I sound all nasally and shit. But I just took some Alka-Seltzer, so maybe I can get through this without dying on camera. I don't want this video to become a snuff film. Another thing I like to get out of the way, per usual, there's not going to be any goddamn legendaries on here. Are you ready for the top 5 favorite grass types? Alright. Top 5 favorite grass type Pokemon. Let's do it. Number 5 is Trevenant. I believe that's the correct pronunciation of it. You know, the 6th generation, it really did introduce us to some interesting dual typings, including the ones with fairy and whatnot. But grass and ghost is probably to me the most interesting of the dual typings. A ghost tree. It's sentient, apparently. I mean, it is an animal, but a living thing and a dead thing. You know, trees are alive in their own way, but they're never seen as the same sort of sentient being as a ghost is portrayed, you know, in folklore and shit. So to combine the two is pretty interesting. What is weird about that is the Pokédex says that Trevenant can control alive trees to protect the forests and shit. Smokey the Bear would be very proud, and that would probably be the only Pokemon Smokey the Bear would have, because it could prevent forest fires with the actual trees. God, I hope my cold isn't affecting the quality of my jokes here. Not that they were very good to begin with. Trevenant has really good attack and special defense stats, which are useful, and there's a really cool design, so it's actually a pretty decent Pokemon, and it's a new Pokemon, and it's neat. And I feel like probably a lot of people like it too. So, there you go. There's number 5. You know, when the Pokemon games kicked off, Generation 1, you know, we had to make the decision, Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle. I feel like most people probably chose Charmander. I did too. A few playthroughs, I may have picked Squirtle at some point, but I'm pretty sure I picked Charmander through every playthrough, you know, whatever. You know, Squirtle did appeal to me, but you know what didn't appeal to me or anybody else was Bulbasaur. He really got a bad rap because he was slow and he wasn't Charmander, you know, he wasn't a fucking lizard and stuff. But I can appreciate after all these years Bulbasaur, and this is why. That's why he's number 4, by the way. You know, he's actually pretty useful when you start out the game, when you're dealing with Brock and Misty. You know, with Bulbasaur, you get him trained up, he's really useful with those gyms. He's super effective against both. Charmander ain't shit against either one. In fact, he's fairly weak against them. And that makes the game a lot harder. You start out with Bulbasaur, yeah, he's kind of slow, but he's really useful in getting your journey started. I wish back in the day I would have chose Bulbasaur a little bit. You know, because it turned out that Charizard wasn't really all he cracked up to be, and, you know, Venusaur and Bulbasaur and Venusaur, they would have been a lot more useful when we all got started playing Pokemon, but I didn't think about that at the time. I just wanted the thing that looked the coolest. Bulbasaur doesn't look the coolest, and, you know, I'm not a huge fan of Venusaur. But I have respect for Bulbasaur, and that's what matters. Number 3, surprisingly, another 6th generation Pokemon on here, Chestnut. And that's not mostly surprising. Usually I don't pick the final evolution of a lot of my favorites, but Chestnut, out of all 3 of those forms, is my favorite. And goddamn his stats are awesome, especially that defense. Goddamn, you need the best offense is a good defense, and that's true. If your Pokemon can't take a fucking hit, you're gonna be in a lot of goddamn trouble. But Chestnut can take a fucking hit. You know, I didn't even have to think twice when I picked Chespin when I started my 6th generation journey. I immediately know who I wanted. Whenever it was long before revealed to us what our starter Pokemon was gonna be, I knew from the very beginning I was gonna be Team Chespin all the fucking way. Chespin was awesome. Middle evolution, you know, kind of just like a fat Chespin, but then Chestnut's a fucking beast. And he is one of my favorite Pokemon of the new generation, and he was highly useful in my journey, including, you know, Elite Bulbasaur and all that business. That's why he gets the number 3 fucking spot. Number... Wait, what? 2. Turtwig. You know, I do like Torterra too. He's kind of cool, but, you know, Turtwig's fucking adorable. It's the cutest turtle leaf thing I've ever seen in my life. Granted, it's the only one. It's hard to find a whole lot to say about Turtwig because when I first got started playing Pokemon, when I hit that generation of games, I didn't pick him. I didn't. I went with Fire again. But it's just like Bulbasaur. In retrospect, it would have made things a little easier and he didn't get the proper respect. Alright? But it was adorable, and I'm okay with saying that, even though I'm a man. And, you know, it's okay to say things are cute. It's hard to find a lot to say because first, you know, but his final evolution, Torterra, is useful. You know. I wish I had more to say about Turtwig, but I just don't. Number 1 was definitely the hardest of any of my other, so far, top 5 videos. Treecko, alright? And I also, what made it hard was, you know, is that Treecko really has a really awesome evolutionary line. I love Sceptile. It's fucking awesome. Fucking beastly and poisonous and all that good shit, but I don't know, I just have a bad habit of going with the cutest thing. I don't know if that's a problem or not, or if that's even justifiable. But I always did pick Treecko, no matter what. That's also something I found out that I do a lot, is no matter how many replaythroughs, I'll pick the same one. I don't know, just, you know, eventually I started learning that starting with grass types is just really a smart move. And because good grass types along the journey are really hard to find in Pokemon games. So, starting off with grass is actually a good way to go. And Treecko's awesome. You know, it's a freaking wood gecko. I don't have a joke for that. No, wait, actually I do. Wood. Nah. I gotta lay off those wood genital jokes. Anyways, I hope you guys appreciated my list. I'm really sick, so I hope that didn't affect a lot of this, but I'm about to go drown my sorrows in some either Alka-Seltzer or Dayquil and or NyQuil, so I may not even wake up in the morning. This could very well be my last video. And you'll find out about how to get my stomach pumped and... Nah, that ain't good. I'd like to know your top 5s. Leave that shit in the comments. Maybe on my next video, I won't be like this.